Hello everyone, this is Ahmed again. In this video will try to take what we had as an initial simple, just to kind of explore the concept of an activity diagram for an ATM machine. We had some activities and want some users, and you will see how this will help us drive the story mapping, taking the users, the goals, and start breaking down and kind of building some sort of a backlog, maintaining that end-to-end user activities. So at least every time we build something that makes sense for the user or is useful. So users, goals, and we break this down to steps, and this will take us through help us build what we call the story map backbone. So a story map has kind of a way of start building your backlog. So we would put users, the first thing. So we would have this user was the what we call a normal user that will get cash. This actually was the admin. This was the user. This focus on the activities for the user first, and it will start by doing. We talked about check balance is a goal. We talked about get cash as a goal. We have daily reports, and we thought this would be kind of in a timer. I kind of missed two users here, or skipped, if you will, just for the space. We want to focus on this user for now. But you see the idea how other roles or users will show in the story map. You would get here and you have the goals. Then we start breaking this down to steps, if you will. And that will create what we call the backbone of the story map as we know it. So as we move on, we try to keep this as a journey of time. So you would come in, you check your balance, you get cash. Maybe you would do a deposit and move this user away. Then you create those steps for it. Usually we color code, so at least you walk in and you know where you are. Sometimes you create a story map for every user journey. We try to maintain the time, but it doesn't happen. It's not easy to maintain every time, because you would come in, check balance, get cash. You wouldn't go to do something else, but that time can get you an end-to-end, more of a use case. If you if you develop a slice around this timeline, you will end up with more an MVP, an end-to-end product that we tailor or give functionality to each type of users, if you will. So this is an idea of just this will go big. I will we'll take this maybe in details with maybe an online banking example in a slideshow or something, or maybe an article. But this is just to see how user activities we did before can drive our story map, or how this relates, and how this will help us stay the course on this. So to check balance, you break this into steps, and it will be, you would need to do some login, right? Let me do this with a different color. So you do login, and you land in the balance screen. And we're starting breaking what we need to do to achieve this goal for the user. You get here and you land in withdraw screen. This is the first time of here, and maybe you get a transaction receipt. So this kind of, we broke this into steps. Then our next goal is to after finishing what we call the backbone, and we only worked on these 2 goals now, not other goals, or even we had more goals for this personality before, but we're thinking how we can break this down. What is it? How we can split this into chunks and distill an end-to-end chunk. And this is kind of the key point, that how you break this down so you still have a variation of this that's still valuable, it still achieve a login. And one of the things you would see here, we can go back to a different, the same color, we can repeat the color just for the sake of the showing how we do variations versus break it down. How you break down this was still more of an end-to-end, if you will. And this kind of will resonate with how the ways to split features. And one of the ways we split features or stories in general is based on the use case, sometimes based on the persona. So a login for this user will be different for a login than for the admin, this guy that we did not add to that small space here. You start thinking of variation of this, like I can log in with mobile code. Could you get your code in your mobile, you put it in, it's one entry field, and it validates with the system. You log in with card and PIN. You log in with biometrics. Or face recognition. So how you start doing this is still a login. If I get you an application that gets you one way of login, you can log in. How you break down the balance screen? Maybe just a simple text only, and you know, one number, one currency. We support only one currency for now, and maybe later on you support other currencies. Maybe you add the euros. So you see how now we broke it down by sometimes data specialties or data types. And if you read about the ways to split features and stories, it's one way of doing this. This is one way of doing it. This is another way of doing it. For the raw screen, it will be fixed amount, only $100 allowed. Only. This is the only amount that you can get. And then I start get you, 20, 40, 60, and 80, plus allowed, maybe. Then later on, I can get you a free field to enter that amount. For the receipts, I can get you on-screen receipt only. On-screen receipt. With a confirmation code, you can, note it or take a picture of your phone. Here I can send you, you can print receipt in the ATM machine, or maybe send an email. Maybe later on I give you an option which one. Maybe I do the email before the print. It depends on the readiness of the hardware, how hard it is. Maybe I get you something. And again, this is a product owner decision. This goes priority. So product owner think I can do this first. I can do this next. In here, I know what? I cannot live with print on a screen. I have something, either email or this. So we cancel this and we move it on. So as we build the backbone, which is up to here, you go left to right as far as time or the journey. or a product life cycle, if you will, or how this will go. You jump in between personas, between goals. It just give you, if I cover most goals with some variations, I end up with a valuable product. And then break this down priority-wise down into variations, so into chunks that I can deliver in a 2 week, and I see something. This end up being in your, so this is the backbone here. The body down is what you have, the skeleton, if you, is the stories. This is what goes in your backlog, or board, if you will. Sometimes this is the backlog, and we take it to the board, and we take this. One thing we do here before we finish and move on, maybe into a bigger version in the next video. I want to keep the videos kind of short. One thing we use this for is to identify the minimum viable product, or kind of use it for as a release. So we would do, okay, we include this, and for the balance, I need these two in the balance, both euros and US dollars. Here I'm okay with only 100 at first. As I go here, I need, no, on screen is not sufficient. Print is important. Email can be next. So we kind of canceled one, and we did this. And this area becomes the in my MVP or my first release. So I'm gonna build this. This is something I can ship to the customer. The customer can, one way of flag it. Not all customers will do this. Maybe 20% of my customer will be happy with it. Will be happy with this. So that's, if you go across, you kind of have an MVP, and also make sure that I'm not building a fancy login without giving it enough attention to the balance screen, to the withdrawal cache. Maybe I do something without a deposit. If we had a deposit here, if you remove this user and we have a deposit, which is this same user, maybe my first will stop here, and I will not do anything in the deposit. You can imagine here that the deposit would have something, steps to it, that is the deposit screen. We do cash, or this is a screen, cash or check, and down here you have a variation of maybe cash first, maybe cash multiple of hundreds, or check will be down in the, maybe the whole deposit is not included in the MVP, and I will stop right here. So this is only my maybe first month, and then second month I will add the card and pen, and maybe that's it. I'm not adding new currencies or anything. I'm not doing anything in the balance screen. I'm moving more into that extra number, and this is my second. I'm not adding the email in release 2, and I'm staying here. So release 2 will be this, and this. And you start moving those, the time that comes in, and that you can flow this into your backlog or board. Usually you take this into the board right away. If you're using Raleigh or something like that, we take this into the items in Raleigh. Sometimes we note the numbers here so you can have some sort of relation. But this is a very good visual, and also collaboration. It drives the conversation. Everybody out after this exercise, everybody understand where we are, what kind of journey, and this is priority going down, and this is timeline, and this kind of keep us keep a check on, are we delivering something that's still end to end? It's a functional product. Hopefully that was kind of get you an idea. I'm really looking for from these short videos to get more feedback, more questions, what's important to work on. I intentionally do those like a lo-fi, nothing fancy. Try to give you a feeling of how you do this. If you're a coach, you want to discuss this more, I'd love to hear from you how you do this, if it's different. Teams, if you have been doing this, you learn from different coaches, you end up with your way, share it with us, what worked, what's not. There are other ways of taking this user journey or high level user goals and activities diagram to more of a journey. I will do that in a separate video, but this is one way of taking this into the traditional story map that we know. Hope this will helpful. Hope to hear feedback from you, and thank you so much for your time.